Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online news video with me, Sherman. Today guys, 5.3.0 has hit the PTS and with it comes the Harrowstorm DLC for the Dark Heart of Skyrim season. And lots of new stuff. We're going to go over everything, patch notes, the new sets, the updated sets, all that kind of stuff, and whatever changes they might make. I did skim the notes and I will say this, a lot of the stuff looks pretty promising. So let's go ahead and get started. So it says, welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online version 5.3.0, the start of the Dark Heart of Skyrim and the Harrowstorm DLC game pack. Harrowstorm introduces two new 4-player dungeons, Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave, in addition to a number of item set and collectibles. Our biggest focus on this update was further improving game performance with an emphasis on frame rate stability, ultimately resulting in fewer drops in your game's frame rate. The combat changes, you'll see support of this goal, which you can read more about in this section. I'm going to have a link in the description below to this forum post, so if you guys want to go read that, this and that forum post that they discuss, you can do that. Additionally, please take note for this update, we're refreshing our patching and file manifest data to remove duplicate files and older data that is no longer needed. This will result in a major improvement to load time, streaming of assets, reliability of asset loads, and reduction of space taken up by the client on your hard drive. In order to achieve this, you will be required to download the entirety of the game for PTS. To this end, the size of the update is 68.55 gigabytes. Note, you do not have to delete anything manually. Just let the patcher run on its own. All PC North American characters have been copied over for Harrowstorm. Template is also available, and a Harrowstorm template is also available for you to use. Thanks in advance for your feedback on this update. And yeah, I got some feedback from just reading the patch notes, so we'll get to that in a second. Going over this, new features, updates, big changes, Harrowstorm DLC game pack, 2 new dungeons, 2 new item sets, a bunch of new item sets, 8 to be exact. New collectibles and dyes, new achievements and titles, new furnishings, and then base game improvements. There is a lot of base game improvements. So performance improvements, new PvP campaigns, new collectibles, new homes, master rich furnishings, Crown Store furnishings, Undaunted achievement furnishings, and Update 26 prologue quest, Darkness Falls in Skyrim. Anniversary Jubilee event is going to be happening as well, so this is for the 6th year anniversary, which will be really cool. Template updates, known issues, fixes, improvements, of course. I'm not going to go through all the rest of this, but there is some comment gameplay stuff, itemization, and item sets got some love, and some touches, so we'll take a look at that. So, starting off, new features, updates, and big changes. 2 new dungeons, Ice Reach. Hidden among the churning waves of the Sea of Ghosts, this frigid isle serves as a seat of power for the cruel Ice Reach coven. Now, lashing storms swirl around it. Could this be a natural phenomenon or something more sinister? Unhallowed Grave. Long ago, the soldiers of the Bancori garrison buried something away in the accursed cavern, an evil too great to leave unguarded. Now, centuries later, even the most daring Red Guard explorers know to give this grave a wide berth. Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave are 4-man dungeons, which can be reached via Hrothgar and Bancori, respectively. Ice Reach's entrance is the northern Hrothgar on the coast, and the entrance is a boat to travel to the dungeon. Unhallowed Grave's entrance is in southeastern Bancori, southwest of the fallen Waste Dolmen. Both dungeons include the normal versions, in addition to challenging veteran versions. There are unique item sets, including 2 new Undaunted Monster Mask sets, only available within the dungeons. Unique achievements, awards are available by including a unique body marking, a unique weapon style, which is something new they haven't done in the past, but there will be weapon styles now, several titles, and unique housing items. new item sets. So update 25 brings the standard 8 new dungeon sets made of 2 light, 2 medium, 2 heavy, and 2 unique monster masks. Split it based on each dungeon released. Additionally, there are new Cyrodiil crafted sets. These item sets are crafted from stations that are inside the 3 captured towns, Valturis, Cropsford, and Bruma. In order to reach these areas, you must first ensure that your alliance has control of the town, so prepare to spill blood. Do note, however, that their stations will still remain attunable for the crafty crafters who do their writs. So, the first sets are from Ice Reach, and the first one is Hitty's Hearth, light armor, 2-piece magic recovery, 3-piece magic recovery, 4-piece is max magicka, and then the 5-piece. When you heal yourself or an ally with an ability, gain a warming aura for 10 seconds. While in the warming aura, you and your group members restore 1,020 health every second and reduce the cost of sprint, block, and roll dodge by 5%. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. Now I'm going to talk about these sets because there's some things to say. I like this. I think this is a much needed helper set, if you will, to help people get accustomed to having something that they can crutch on for healing. And I think it'll come in real handy, especially for the reduced cost in sprint, block, and roll dodge by 5% for those that are learning to get into trials. So this is a really good, like, stepping stone set. So, or if you want to use it all the time, I mean, it's a great set. Titanborn Strength, medium armor. Love this one. So 2-piece physical penetration, 3-piece weapon damage, 4-piece max stamina, and then the 5-piece. Adds 110 weapon damage and 1240 physical penetration. This bonus doubles to 220 weapon damage and 2480 physical penetration when under 75% health. This bonus quadruples to 440 weapon damage and 4,960 physical penetration when you are under 50% health. Now, the reason I like this set is because it reminds me of like a Berserker set. Like, the more damage you take, the more aggressive your character becomes. So I really like how they did this. And I think that's what the game needed, is some more aggressive melee sets for those people who like to play more aggressively. And, you know, like, hey, I'm taking damage. I know I'm in the forefront of this fight, but I'm going to dish it out too. So I really like this combination. Ice Torment. This is the heavy armor set. 2-piece adds healing taken, 3-piece adds max health, 4-piece stamina. This is the only thing I don't like about the set, is the 5-piece bonus. When you taunt a nearby enemy, you tether to them for 5 seconds. While tethered, you apply Major Maim to your enemy, reducing their damage done by 30%, and you gain Major Vitality, increasing your healing taken by 30%. The tether is broken if the enemy moves 8 meters away from you. This effect can occur once every 14 seconds. One, I don't like the timer, the 14-second cooldown. And number 2, they need to stop doing this. They need to stop making all the heavy sets have something that, like, at least one set in every dungeon DLC have to have taunt included. Like, if you want this game to truly be play how you want, you need to quit doing this. You need to add the taunt mechanic to more armor sets than just heavy. You need to add a healing taken to more than just heavy. You need to start really focusing on this idea that we can play how we want. So, I do like this set, though. It does sound interesting for tanks. How well it'll work, don't know. The Monster Mask, Mother's Clan Knit, or Cyanat, whatever. First piece is Max Magicka. 2-piece, while in combat, casting an ability with a cast time or channeling an ability grants you a damage shield that absorbs 3,000 damage for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. So, really more of a support monster set, which I really like. I think we needed more. We definitely need more support type monster sets for players, especially crutch type sets, because there's a lot of people out there that do have difficulty, and it's not necessarily difficulty understanding the game or learning the game, but playing the game at the same level as other players. So this is a nice set to compensate for that playability. And I really like it. Moving on now to Unhallowed Grave. The first one, Drugger's Kin Grip. Light Armor. 2-piece Max Magicka, 3-piece Spell Penetration, 4-piece Magicka Recovery, and then the 5-piece. Dealing direct damage to an enemy has a 10% chance to place a ghostly curse on your enemy for 6 seconds. The cursed enemy takes 530 extra damage from all your damage abilities. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. Alright. Nothing much to say about this other than finally we got a set that really works good for Magicka DPS that not only gives them mag recovery, but it also gives them the penetration, and then it gives them a really good 5-piece bonus, or even a great set for a healer to use as a DPS set, because a lot of healer sets, there isn't a lot of really good DPS mechanics added to them, and this does a little bit of both. It does a little bit of like supportive type stuff plus this damage thing, and it really is fitting for the light armor. Next one, Aegis Collar, medium armor, 2-piece weapon damage, 3-piece stam recovery, 4-piece weapon damage. And if you guys haven't noticed, this is like, this right here is a very not used combination of things in a lot of armor sets. Now I think there's maybe 10 armor sets out of the 300 we have in the game, 300 plus, that have this combination of weapon damage, recovery, weapon damage, or spell damage, recovery, spell damage. So it's really good when you see a set like that. The 5-piece bonus, when you deal critical damage with a melee ability, summon a Lesser Aegis for 12 seconds. After 2.5 seconds, the Lesser Aegis spins its blades, dealing 4,880 bleed damage every second. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. So the cool thing is that it can go up every 10 seconds. It has a 12-second timer with a 2.5 second delay. So this is actually a really interesting set, and I'm going to do some testing with it to see what I can come up with, but it sounds really cool for those like kind of summoner type players who like that concept. So especially in a medium set. The heavy set, Grave Guardian, 2-piece max stamina, 3-piece max health, 4-piece max health, 5-piece summon a stone aura while blocking, hardening you and your nearby group members, increasing your physical and spell resist by 4430. Okay, again, not all heavy armor sets have to deal with blocking and taunting. Let's do something different here. There's a million things you could have done. That, like, you could have had it be any time that the person takes damage, or there's so many other options. I like the concept, though. This idea of a group support set in heavy armor that gives you stamina, max health, and then whenever you block, you get this group member resistance buff. Again, this is kind of one of those stepping stone sets to help, or crutch sets that are really good for helping people get into trials or other difficult content. So I really like it. And you can get this in normal runs and then upgrade it. So, Jalnar's Nightmare is the next one, and the K would probably be silent is my guess, because Kajalnar, it sounds really weird. So, the 1-piece adds spell damage. The 2-piece, dealing damage with a light attack, puts a bone stack on your enemy for 5 seconds. You can only apply 1 stack every second. At 5 stacks, an undodgeable skeletal hand attacks the enemy after 1 second, knocking them into the air and stunning them for 3 seconds, or dealing 14,500 magic damage if they cannot be stunned. An enemy that has reached 5 stacks cannot gain bone stacks for 3 seconds. This is going to be overpowered. Alright, first off, Magicka doesn't have a lot of sets that are really good for doing dungeons or boss encounters, and now they do. Now they have this really great set that gives them extra ways of increasing their DPS. I like it, but again, I think that the concept is positive, but I think that the negative of it is not the 3-second delay thing after, you know, getting the 5 stacks, because you're going to get 5 stacks and either stun them if they're trash mobs, or as they call them, the normal mobs, or if it's a boss, they're going to get the damage. So it's a really powerful set, and I do kind of like it. Now moving on to the serial crafted sets that they talked about. Critical Reposit. This is located in Valturis. So 2-piece adds critical resistance, 3-piece adds max health, 4-piece more crit resist, and then the 5-piece. When you take critical damage, you apply minor uncertainty and minor innervation to the enemy for 4 seconds, reducing their physical and spell critical by 13-14, and reducing their critical damage by 10%. An enemy can only be affected by critical reposit at once every 7 seconds. This is probably by far gonna be the set that I see used a lot in Battlegrounds because of this ridiculous amount of survivability it's gonna give you against some of those people who play in Battlegrounds. Recently I was in Battlegrounds and there was a crit player in there and he was just toasting everybody because people were building for crit resist, but not to the amount that he had. So he was just shredding everyone. So this will come in handy. Unchained Aggressor, located in Bruma, 2-piece adds max stamina, 3-piece stam recovery, 4-piece weapon damage, another 4-piece bonus of spell damage. So more focused on the hybrid scene. And then after breaking free, gain Major Berserk for 9 seconds, increasing your damage done by 25%. This effect can occur once every 21 seconds. Okay, so great idea. Okay, 9 seconds of Major Berserk, which is a lot, but this would have to be made for a crit build. And so this will work out really well, in my opinion, in PvE and PvP. But the killer is at 21 seconds. That's going to really throw this off. Because for 9 seconds, you're going to have Major Berserk. But it's not going to be able to trigger but once every 21. So it's... And it's when you break free. So it's... In PvP, you break free quite a bit. In PvE, you don't. So, not as often. Or you shouldn't be. Alright, next one. Dauntless Combatant. Located in Cropsford. 2-piece max stam, 3-piece max health, 4-piece max magicka, 5-piece more max health, and then an extra 5-piece bonus. While afflicted or affected by disabling effect, you'll automatically break free for no cost using this effect. You become winded and cannot re-trigger this effect for 21 seconds. The 2 to 5 piece is really good. No offense, it's really good. But that final 5th piece bonus, the secondary 5th piece bonus, is kind of garbage. The no-cost break-free, that's nice, but having the effect every 21 seconds, again, these long timers on sets, is what kills them and makes them unused by a lot of people. Reducing that to, like, say, 15, or even going as far as making this, like, say, 12 seconds, would make it more effective. So, we'll have to see. New Collectibles and Dyes. Several new collectibles can be obtained by participating in the new Harrowstorm dungeon and completing various achievements. The Lyris Ice Reach Battle Axe outfit style is earned by completing the Ice Reach Conquer achievement, accomplished by defeating all bosses in Ice Reach on veteran difficulty. That is cool. I'm glad they did this. The next one is the Blood Rune Body Markings are earned by completing the Unhallowed Grave Conquer achievement, which is, defeating a veteran. And then there is the Blood Rune Face Markings are earned by completing the Knock Knock achievement acquired by discovering Voria's Sanctum in the Unhallowed Grave dungeon and killing the beast found there. The Wicker Man Mishap emote is awarded by completing the Harrowstone Explorer achievement, accomplished by entering either the Ice Heart or Unhallowed Grave dungeons. And then the Frozen Blood die can be obtained by completing the Harrowstone Delver achievement for completing both dungeons on veteran difficulty. Achievements and titles. Harrowstorm introduces over 30 achievements for providing your prowess in the Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave dungeons. Additionally, there are 4 titles to obtain. The Storm Foe title is obtained by completing No Rest for the Wicked achievement. The Witch Hunter title is completed the Cold-Blooded Killer achievement. The Bone Caller's Bane title is obtained by completing the In Defiance of Death. I really want to get the Witch Hunter one. I want to say it now. The Sacrificer title is obtained by completing the Skull Smasher achievement. New furnishings, new bust and trophy furnishings have been added to commemorate victory in the Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave dungeons. Alright, moving on. Lots of stuff to go over, guys. And I do apologize for coughing, clearing my nose, that kind of thing. Performance improvements. Frame rate stability improvements have been achieved by optimizing several systems. This means you will now encounter fewer drops in frame rate, maintaining a smoother display of motion on screen. Please see below for brief explanation of the technical work that was completed to support this. So I'm not going to go over all this, but they optimize multi-threading implementation to improve performance in situations with lots of effects, particles, projectiles, weather, blah, 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 happening at the same time. They optimize specific processes that could be cause spikes in resource usage and cause FPS drops. They parallelized the fixture update processing, allowing them to utilize multiple cores to improve overall performance of the game client, and they added additional miscellaneous CPU optimization, including the following, which is the parallelized terrain, optimize the tutorial GUI, optimize compass pins, miscellaneous function improvements. Alright, so we're getting a new PvP campaigns. 4 new PvP campaigns will be opening with the launch of Update 25 and are appropriately themed with the Dark Heart of Skyrim. All existing campaigns will be shut down, and players assigned to these campaigns will be granted end-of-campaign rewards in addition to receiving the free campaign reassignment. The new campaigns include Blackreach, 30-day CP-enabled, no alliance locked; Ravenwatch, 30-day no CP, no alliance locked; Greyhost, 30-day CP-enabled, alliance locked; and Ice Reach, 10 to 49 campaign. Whew. Lots of stuff. New collectibles. Knights of the Circle armor and weapon outfit styles are obtained by purchasing the Knight Resolver and Knight Rebuke from a war researcher in Cyrodiil. Knight's Resolve can be combined with 20 arena gladiator proofs to generate random style pages for armor in the Knights of Circle style, and the Knights of Rebuke can be obtained with 40 arena gladiator proofs to generate a random style for a weapon in the Knight of Circle style. These style pages are not found and can be freely traded with other players. We're excited to present 2 new homes for testing in this update. Forge Master Falls, thunderous waterfalls, an imposing smithy, and a magnificent view of the Great Bay make this brisk coastal village the perfect refuge for adventurers seeking a rugged orcish lifestyle. The house includes a built-in blacksmithing station. Oh, wow. Next up, Thieves Oasis. With a mix of a Redguard architecture both old and new, Thieves Oasis features a stunning waterfall, ancient statues, and housing fit for a prince. Whether that prince is a scholarly antiquarian or a roguish thief. New Master Writ furnishings. So Fanasta Curio has gotten a new shipment of Journeyman and Master Furnishers documents from elsewhere, which contain superior and epic furnishing plans. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. There's 30 Master Writs for this. So, in addition, a new set of unique furnishings recipes are available from Rawless Halia or Haloa. Yeah, you guys get it. As usual, the set is now available at a reduced cost. So. Crown Store furnishings, Cadwell's Astonishing Portal, Statue Pride of Alkosh Hero, Undaunted achievement furnishings, Update 26 Prologue Quest, Darkness Falls in Skyrim. Aid Lyris Titanborn as she investigates a grim conspiracy targeting the leadership of Skyrim. Travel with the legendary hero all over Tamriel as you lay bare the plots of the Ice Reach Coven and try to protect Skald King Joran from their machinations. To begin the Greymoor Prologue quest for testing, you will need to first obtain the free Crown Store quest starter item, the Skald King Royal Dispatch. Venture to Daggerfall's Davin's Watch or Volkogard depending on the alliance, and find Lyris Titan board, observing practice in the Fighters Guild. Talk to Lyris and accept the first of the 2 quests, the Coven Conspiracy. Sounds pretty cool. And then, of course, they have the Anniversary Jubilee event going on. Visit Chef Dolan at Davin's Watchdagger, blah, 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 blah. And the new 2020 cake. Complete any daily quest to gain in the game during the Anniversary Jubilee event. And gain an Anniversary Jubilee box, which contains a wide assortment of goodies, including crafting materials, motive materials, and a chance for rare motives and outfit styles. New this year is the Jafire Paladin outfit style, so that sounds really cool. Available for a chance to drop in an Anniversary Jubilee gift box. Weapon and armor styles are also learned from style pages obtained from the Jubilee gift boxes. And all anniversary cakes are now available as furnishing items as well in your if you possess a memento version of a given year's cake. You can now buy replicas of the cake to place in your home. These are sold at the Impresario for 3 event tickets each. This includes the new cake for this year, and you can acquire as many copies as you like. You will also be able to earn 3 event tickets per day during the Anniversary Jubilee. This is cool. I like the way the Anniversary event sounds this year. I can't wait. Alright, template information. Not going to worry too much about this, but they added 200 new group repair kits to the consumable containers and the gladiator proofs, or endless supply of gladiator proofs, and increase the rich vouchers, blah, blah, blah. 6 of 7 in the Sovereign Cell, whatever. Alright. Not a whole lot here, except for the Citric Order. This passive is currently disabled on the PTS until it receives additional work to support the changes with block. So, alright, Clockwork City, Dark Brotherhood, Dragon Bones, Dragon Hold, just some changes with the dragons, the Griffin, Glyptodon, and the Mountain Bristleback, some other minor stuff. Elsewhere, Necromancers. Due to mechanical issues with the Necromancers' engagement in corpses and targeting of corpses, the following changes have been made in hopes to alleviate some of these shortcomings. Blastbones and its morphs corpses will now last 6 seconds rather than 5. Skeletal Mage and Spirit Mender and their morphs corpses will now last 10 seconds rather than 5. And they improve the targeting areas from all tether abilities, and will now link to the corpse closest to your reticle from a much larger radius. So that's kind of cool. Gravelord, Blastbones. The skeleton from this ability in Swarms will now attempt to leap from up to 28 meters after a short delay in spawning in rather than 15 meters, and they fixed an issue where the skeleton would appear to jump backwards when leaping in close ranges. They also increased the speed in which the skeleton jumps. Boneyard reduced the cost of this ability to $37.80 from $49.50. So the complaints about the cost increase from last update have definitely been heard, and it looks like they've taken some of the cost down, but not by a whole lot. I mean, this is like literally only 1,000 less. So it's a lot, but it's not as much as a lot of us were hoping. Bone Tyrant, Bitter Harvest, the Dead in Pain, they fixed an issue with major protection. Bone Totem fixed an issue with the visual effects. I'm not going to go over a lot of the fixed stuff, guys, because a lot of it is just fixes. Alright, just going to scroll on down here. Morrowind had some minor adjustments. Scalp Breaker, Somerset, combat and gameplay. General changes. So in combat and abilities, updated block to be calculated more efficiently by the server, similarly to sprint. Sets and passives that key off block while blocking while bracing now more accurately update as a transition between actively blocking and not. Overall, the core block behaviors are untouched between mechanics and cost. We will be monitoring the forums and other areas for feedbacks and bug reports, so please make sure to provide feedback on this change if you run into any strange behaviors or have questions. Activating block while animating an ability or attack will now blend the animation more fluidly instead of completely obfuscating the attack. The core mechanics to block canceling remain untouched, but now display more of the previous attack's animations before your character animates the block. Now, note the visual effects for blocking still appear as soon as block as officially activated. So as soon as block is officially activated, it'll do its thing. So fixed an issue where you could activate block while you didn't have enough stamina. Attacks that reduce stamina to 0 to remove block after successfully mitigate the effect of effects that normally would be mitigated via block through this scenario will no longer cancel their effects since your ability to block has been removed. They also fixed a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going, again, over everything. So, summon pets, player abilities such as summon and stable familiar will now behave more consistently with other abilities when entering deep water. Fixed an issue where some leap and charge abilities could not be cast while immobilized. They fixed some... There's just a lot of stuff. They also did some off-balance tweaks. Nothing major. Off-balance is no longer reapplied to a target for 15 seconds once the original source of off-balance ends. This cooldown is displayed as a debuff on targets once they are affected. So, buffs and debuffs, minor and major heroism. These buffs will now only grant ultimate while in combat. This prevents these buffs from keeping you in combat longer than intended. Dragon Knight, Ardent Flame, they fixed some issues. Dragon Leap, the ultimate will now properly animate to a leap on targets, regardless of its range. Protective Scale, this ability now grants damage mitigation to abilities more appropriately described in the tooltip. Molten Weapons, Molten Armaments, more fixes. Stone Fist updated this ability to improve its visual storytelling and per cast impact. Stone Fist is now a two-part ability instead of a singular instant mid-ranged attack. Activating this ability will now stomp the earth, causing you to deal damage in an area around you after a short cast time and generating 3 charges of the ability. Activating the ability again allows you to lob one of the earthen spheres around you to an enemy from up to 20 meters away to damage them. The base ability no longer has a staggered mechanic, but instead the final charge will stun the enemy hit upon dealing damage. Stone Giant, this morph retains stagger in the form of causing targets to affected by the ranged attacks to take additional damage. They increase that damage to 65 from 45 at rank 4. So, fixes to Consuming Darkness. Unstable Familiar, reduce the cost to 3510 from 4500. Bolt Escape, more issues. Lightning Slash, they reduce the cost to 3780 from 4950. And Overload, fixed some issues. Adric Spear Shards, they reduce the cost of 3780. Again, it sounds like they saw the error of their ways on this cost increase and said, okay, that's too much, let's lower it and see what happens. So, I will be honest, a lot of the stuff you're seeing here is going live. It's just a given. Nova, this ability and its morphs now have a negative telegraph, so you can properly tell if the heavens are being called down to protect you or smite you. Restoring Light, Sacred Ground. This passive no longer snares enemies in the area. Instead, it increases your block mitigation by an additional 10% while standing in one of the mentioned abilities. So if you guys don't know what Restoring Light is, it's a passive that the Templar had when you would activate Ruin Focus or the circle, the big circle that heals and does damage and all that. When you would use those, it would give you this movement speed reduction in them by 30% against anything who entered there. Now it's not going to have that. Instead, it's going to increase your block mitigation for tanking by 10%, which is now puts them on par with the same kind of mitigation block-wise as a DK. So that's actually really cool. Warden, Green Balance fixed an issue. Winter's Embrace, Glacial Presence. Now this is one I don't know how I feel about it, because if I remember right, what Glacial Presence did was it increased your physical, or your ice and your ice damage and something else. But I'll have to go in game and make sure. But this passive now also increases your critical damage against enemies and critical healing against allies who have been affected or recently afflicted with the chilled status effect. So with us going into the ice region, I can understand, like up north, why this is being added, because we're going to probably take a lot of ice damage. So this is going to be really good for that. But the only other place that's really, really focused is Dire Frost Keep, where you take a lot of ice damage. And there's a couple other dungeons that they've added since Dire Frost Keep that are like cold influenced, and they do have some shield status effect stuff. Alright, weapon, bow, poison arrow. So they fixed some issues. Poison injection fixed some issues. Ballista fixed some issues. Volley reduced the cost to 3510 from 4500. Destructive touch, Wall of Elements, they reduced the cost, and they fixed numerous issues involving visual effects of this ability and its morphs. Dual Wield, Blade Cloak, reduced the cost. Twin Blade and Blunt fixed an issue where the bleed from this passive was not consistent with its proc condition. Now it is. Battlefield Mobility, this passive now has more accurately describes what it does. Restoration Staff, Panacea, Life Giver, they fixed an issue here. Two-handed Berserker Strike fixed an issue. They also reduced the damage done by this ability and its morphs by approximately 16% to better account for the fact that it also ignores mitigation. Berserker's Rage fixed an issue where this ability did not grant immunity to snares and immobilizations. And then heavy weapons, they fixed the bleed like they did on the Dual Wield. And then Uppercut, Dizzying Swing, this morph now stuns enemies who are already off balance. So that's kind of cool. Heavy Armor. Unstoppable Brute. The cost reduction of CC break for this ability is now properly linked to the major resolve it grants and will increase its duration with bonuses such as Jorvald's Guidance, but will also be lost in a larger source of major resolve is applied. So it will lose the major resolve of a larger source gets applied, or longer source gets applied, but it is still pretty amazing that they did that fix. Drain Essence, the stun from, and this is on the Vampire, the stun from this ability and its morphs now occurs when the cast completes rather than when it begins, and they fixed an issue where casting this ability in rapid succession could cause it to get stuck and cause various animation issues. Werewolf, lots of fixes on the Werewolf there. Mage's Guild, Meteor Shooting Star, this ability will no longer grant ultimate for hitting corpses. And then Sigic Order, Concentrated Barrier. This passive more accurately describes its proc conditions. And then Undaunted Bone Surge, they fixed it, an issue where the synergy of this morph was granting a damage shield larger than it stated. And then Trapping Webs, they also fixed some issues. Alliance Support Barrier fixed some issues. Volendrug got some updated. Many of the damage and scaling modifiers of the Daedric Artifact to be better match ability standards. So increase the damage of light attacks by 1725, increase the damage of Roken's Rebuke by 1555, just a lot of increase and decrease. Malakath's Revenge updated the ability to better match its visual effects. Yep. Alright, itemization and item sets. Updated many item sets that key off the act of actively holding block, dubbed bracing, to use the terminology in their respective tooltips. This will prevent confusion where they are not meant to work with abilities that allow you to block without needing to brace, such as Shield Wall. Alright, so consumables. Lots of things here. Attempting to drink a potion while unable to drink no longer plays the sound effect. Yeah, item sets. So here's the item sets, and a lot of them are fixes. So Affliction fixed an issue where this set would apply Minor Defile and have a 15% chance to apply Diseased. It will now always apply the Disease status effect instead, since the debuff applies Minor Defile already. Yeah, that would be good. So Archmage, Sorry. This set now properly triggers off Restoration heavy attacks. Thank you. Ashen Grip. This set no longer forces your character in an animation, potentially getting it stuck or displaying odd behaviors. Fixed an issue where this set didn't properly trigger off all melee attacks, and removed the 10% proc chance and increased the damage to 5,350 from 1,118. This actually makes Ashen Grip a good set now for those people who like the hybridized DK, who want a little bit of fire and poison in both. So now you got a reason. Auroran's Thunder updated the set's tooltip to better match its actual proc requirements, fixed an issue where this set wouldn't work with some melee attacks, and they decreased the damage per tick to 1147 from 1285. Briarheart, this is one that's really got me wondering. This set no longer has a hidden 1 second cooldown on the heal, but the heal has a decrease to 378, down from 609, which doesn't bother me any, and they increased the weapon damage to 450 from 449 for a prettier number. They also increased the proc chance to 25%. Briarheart just became one of my new favorites, guys. They fixed an issue where this set on the Claws of Yulnakrin did not proc when using the Trifocus passive, and then Clever Alchemist updated the combat check for this item set to be more accurate with your client's stats, increased the duration bonus to 20 seconds up from 15, and increased the weapon and spell damage bonus to 675 up from 661. And then Curse Eater, they fixed an issue where this set would fail to proc off ultimates or mend wounds. This set now has an 8-second cooldown per target rather than overall, and they increased the magic restore to 678 up from 600, and they also fixed an issue where this set shared a cooldown with Stendarr's Embrace. Curse of Dolomesh, this set now properly works on feared targets, reduced the cooldown to 4 seconds, down from 7 seconds, sorry, increased the damage to 12,507 up from 12,040, and yeah, that's quite a big change there. And then Draylock Grey fixed an issue where the set could activate while Shield Wall or its morphs were active. Destructive Mage, this set's explosion can now be triggered by any heavy attack rather than only allies. They reduced the cooldown of the application of this set to 4 seconds, down from 10, and they decreased the damage done to 6,575 from 7,500. Dune Ripper's Scale fixed an issue where this set would not activate while Shield Wall or its morphs were active. This is awesome. Elfbane fixed an issue where this set, properly applying to some tooltips, increased the duration of this set to 5 seconds up from 2. Thank you. Ancient Guardian fixed numerous issues of the set's cooldown for abilities where the sphere could cast, and then fixed an issue where the set would leave the mortal realm for an entire if you enter deep water while it was active. Essence Thief. This set now procs off light or heavy attacks instead of only light attacks, and they fixed an issue where the set could proc off friendly targeted light attacks. Eternal Hunt fixed an issue where this set was considered damage over time instead of direct damage. And then Galarin's Revenge. This set now only requires 5 stacks to trigger, down from 6. They increased the damage to 9630 from 4730 and added a 1 second cooldown to applying stacks, and they fixed an issue where this set would fail to apply properly with lightning or restoration stabs. Ice Furnace. This set no longer requires direct damage with a proc chance to be triggered. They increased the damage to 1644 from 1056. This is really good for fire DK or ice DKs. I like to call them fire and ice. Iceheart fixed an issue where this set was considered direct damage instead of damage over time. That's awesome. Infallible Mage fixed an issue where this set's damage amp was not properly applying to all heavy attacks. Note, the minor vulnerability now follows its tooltip and requires a fully charged heavy attack to apply. Alright, Infernal Guardian. This set now procs when you apply damage shield ability on yourself or an ally. Updated the tooltip to better reflect the proc conditions for the set and fixed numerous issues where it would not obey its listed in intended proc conditions. Lucky's Focus. This set now grants major evasion rather than a unique buff. Remove the healing reduction from the set and reduce the penalty of area effect damage to 15% down from 25%. That's actually kind of nice. Molekina, they reduced the cost increase penalty of this set to 8% down from 20%. Thank you. It's a really good set, I mean, when you know how to use it. Merkeldin, this is one I've been waiting for a while now. This set now properly mentions its cooldown in the tooltip. Fixed an issue where the light attack from the set would snare enemies, and they fixed an issue where the damage dealt from the set's attacks were highly inconsistent. They also removed the proc chance from this item set. So now whenever you do what it says, the light attack, it's going to proc. So, Prisoner's Rags. Fixed an issue where this set was not providing the correct amount of magicka while sprinting, and then Robes of the Hiss fixed an issue where this set would fail to properly activate against snares under certain circumstances. Scathing Mage, this set no longer considers the first tick of each damage over time as direct damage, and this set no longer requires critical strikes to proc. They reduced the duration and cooldown to 5 seconds from 6 seconds. Scathing Mage has an ultimate uptime now, and this is going to make it really good. Shadow of the Red Mountain updated the tooltip from this set to better represent the proc conditions. Sheer Venom fixed an issue where this set would fail to proc from any tick of poison injection damage over time, increase the damage to 9660 up from 8428. Stormmaster, which I'm really excited about, fixed an issue where this set would fail to proc off Overload despite it being thematically appropriate to do so. Increase the damage to 1605 up from 1333, and fixed an issue where the damage done was considered a projectile rather than direct damage. So if you guys don't know what Stormmaster is, it's the one where you activate a heavy attack, and then it procs you to do electrical damage with each light attack after that. So you do a heavy attack, boom, and then you get 20 seconds of light attack damage increase of 1605 lightning damage. So this plays really well into those hybridized Sork builds. Thieves of the Harbinger. This set now deals damage based on 6% of your max health rather than 4% of your current health. This set continues to deal damage regardless of the range of the attacker. Tormentor, this cell now properly works with explosive charge. Thank you. Vulcans, now if they can make Tormentor work with not only explosive charge, but also the Werewolf Leap, that would be awesome. Vulcan Scoria fixed an issue where this set could proc off other procs. Vestment of Olorum fixed an issue where this set would trigger off siege weapons. Vicosa, this set now reduces enemy spell and weapon power by 268. Instead of applying major maim, increase the duration to 8 seconds and reduce the cooldown to 12. That is insane, and it's going to be nice. So, Way of Fire updated the tool set of the set to better represent its proc conditions. Another one I really like to use on a DK. Wild Impulse fixed an issue where this set's damage over time could not stack with multiple players. The Wilder Queen's Arch fixed an issue where this snare would stack with other snares. And then Wrath of the Imperium, they fixed an issue where this set was not properly granting its bonus to all 3 hits of Force Shock and its morphs. Alright, now that we've done that, let's get over the rest of these things. So, Battlegrounds, you can now only queue as a solo player in the Battlegrounds. They reset the Battleground matchmaking ratings for all players, and all game modes for all the Kark are now using the initial launch version of the map. Some art and animation stuff, audio stuff, combat and gameplay stuff. There was a lot of fixes to a lot of different things and different stuff. And world bosses will you will now receive proper loot when both Man's whatever and East March have been defeated. Finally. Dungeons and group content. Lots of things in these have been adjusted. A lot of dungeons. A lot of it's been toned down a little bit, I will say. Not major toned down, but enough to give you some better playthrough of it. Housing, furnishing stuff, of course, blah, blah, blah. Homes, quest zones, UI improvements, of course, gamepad mode. And that's pretty much it for the patch notes, guys. I mean, like I said, you guys, if you want to read through a lot of the stuff I didn't, you can read through the patch notes yourselves by clicking on the link in the description below. If you want to read up on the thing that they talked about in the very beginning about reading that section on forums, again, click on the link in the description below. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the patch notes and what's coming with the new Harrowstorm DLC on PTS. And we will probably see some updates and fixes and stuff, but I think a lot of it isn't going to be skill-based or things like that. I think it's going to be more technical-based or performance-based, because they really want to get all these performance issues taken care of before this goes live, if there is any. So I don't know if there is any right now showing up. I haven't logged in yet to the PTS, so yeah. But that's, I mean, that's it for the patch notes. So, this is what I've got going on for PTS. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys in on this little secret. I'm going to be doing a lot this PTS. I'm going to be doing both dungeons, showing those off and checking them out. I'll be using my main character for that. And then I will also be testing each of the sets individually, plus the monster sets that drop in the dungeons, and checking them out with combinations of other sets that you can get in the game, and seeing what kind of builds I can come up with from these, and if any interesting ones, and how they might work in helping, you know, players get comfortable with builds utilizing this stuff. So that's what I got going on for this update. I do have other builds coming, guys, but it's gonna be not like I've done in the past. I'm not gonna release just a ton of builds. I'm gonna release builds, new builds. I'm not going to release any older builds because I've already got them done. They're already sitting on my channel, and you guys can go check them out now. Any new builds I add are going into the builds list, so you can go check them out for yourselves. There will be solo builds. There will be PvE builds, like for overlanded dungeons and trials, and then there will be builds for more dedicated towards PvP, and then some for in-game even. So we'll have to see what we can come up with. But like I said, I'm not going to be releasing a crap ton of builds this update. Probably roughly about 10 to 12 at max until the next chapter comes out. So, but that's it for the video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, you guys know what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe, and also remember to click on that notification bell to see when I post new videos, and it just kind of helps my channel grow. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.